Hello everybody, welcome back to another new show on the channel. Now in this video we'll be discussing Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. We'll be discussing the latest on Rasmus HOJLUND, talking about Greenwood potential return, but without further ado, let's get straight into it now. It's coming in from Erik ten Hag's press conference that he did today that Rasmus HOJLUND will be out for 2 to 3 weeks. Now that's another huge injury concern, and we'll be discussing that in today's video. The huge problem with Erik ten Hag is he struggled to find consistency. We had a lot of players out injured in the past few games, and we slowly started to bring them back, and yet more injuries have now occurred. And I think that's a recurring theme of Erik ten Hag's tenure at Manchester United. In the 19 months that he's been here, he's found it really difficult to maintain a balanced squad, whether that's from the defence, attack. I mean, he's brought in a new striker in Rasmus HOJLUND. He's injured, Martial's injured, Antony's not in form. So it is a huge issue for our forward line. But I think the fact that HOJLUND's picked up a muscular injury is quite concerning. Erik ten Hag said we're playing a lot of games and the intensity is certainly there. And it won't be an injury that keeps him out too long. 1 to 3 weeks, Erik ten Hag discussed in his press conference. Now, quickly, let me talk about that. I think the fact that HOJLUND's picked up an injury, as I said, is really quite disappointing. I think he was starting to find some great form at Manchester United, and his relationship with the people around him, Rashford and Garnacho in particular, were really improving. Now he's going to have a spell of a sideline on the sidelines, and it is really disappointing. I think the development of such a young player, he found it really difficult to score in his first 15 games, and after that he's flooded in the goals. He's looked like a real threat for Manchester United, and our only player realistically in the front three who's going to score us goals. And that continuous threat from him has always been there, and he's looked top quality. I think the performances that he's put in, yes, even before when he wasn't scoring goals, I think he looked really good. So it is disappointing for HOJLUND to be out of the team, but it is just part of the game. I mean, injuries unfortunately are part of the game, and he's going to have to spend some time on the sidelines. Now it's really disappointing because we've had some big injuries this season. If you look at the players I listed, I think maybe 15, 16 players of our team have been injured. You look at Wan-Bissaka, Martinez, Varane, Maguire's been injured, Shaw, Amrabat's been injured, I think Lindelof's been injured, HOJLUND's now injured. There's been just a lot of injuries at Manchester United, and that hasn't helped us, and that has probably affected our season. I think when you have a consistent team and you know who's going to play game in, game out, it does make it easier. When you're uncertain about who's going to play and which partnerships are going to be formed, it does make it that extra difficult. Difficulty, and that is a huge issue, and something Erik ten Hag, in my opinion, needs to solve massively. We can't really solve injuries, they are part of the game. But what does this mean for Manchester United's forwards? I think there's rumours that Amari Forster might come in, but for me, I would probably look to bring in Amad Diallo. I think the consistent development of Amad Diallo has been so important for us, and it has been really positive. I think the performances that he's put in over a consistent period of time at Sunderland will face him in Manchester United shirt well. And in the cameo that he got, I think it was in December against Nottingham Forest, he looked really well, and that was only a 15-minute cameo. I think the potential with Amad is really there. He's relatively young. We've sent him on loan. He's proved himself, and we've got to give him a chance. Now, I know Amari Forster's still a young player. He hasn't had his opportunity. So it's all about bringing in the youth. Now, that's something Manchester United have also been adamant on throughout their history. I think bringing in youth players is an important part of the game, and something Manchester United must look to do, in my opinion, in order to change and develop into new things. I mean, we haven't seen much of Amari Forster. It's all about giving young players a chance. We've seen it with Diallo. We've seen it with players like Kobbie Mainoo, Rashford, who've come into the team at such young ages. And I hope it does work out, because he does look like a kid with a lot of potential. And he has been in and around that first team for such a long time now. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what happens at left back. We're unsure. Malasia's not quite fit yet. But let's talk about the next story, which is Mason Greenwood. That was coming in from, I think, the Sun, that Mason Greenwood feels like he has a debt to repay back to Manchester United and the fans in Erik ten Hag now. I mean, we know this Greenwood situation very sensitive, and Sir Jim obviously talked about his potential of coming back. I think it'd be very unlikely. I think it caused a lot of uproar with the Manchester United fans. And I think it'd be just an issue, and I think Manchester United see Greenwood as a potential asset who they can generate 30-40 million pounds for, and I certainly would be for that deal. I think the best thing for Greenwood is probably to leave. I don't think many Manchester United fans will probably welcome him back at the club, and it won't be any good for Manchester United. We're on about moving forward. I don't think that'll be a positive step in the right direction. But yeah, that's the news. HOJLUND, Greenwood potentially coming back. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting what happens with that Greenwood situation now. Obviously, have your opinion on Greenwood coming back. For me, yes, he's doing well at Getafe, but for me, I think the way that Manchester United are moving forward, especially with the attackers, I think it does look really positive for us, and I'm hoping we can continue to develop into a top quality team. Without Greenwood, I think there's other players. I think Ahmad, Garnacho, Rashford, and we can bring in some new forwards. Neto, Elise, they're options as well. So yeah. Anyway, let me quickly talk about Neto. Actually, there's been a price tag of rumoured 80 million for the signing of Pedro Neto. Now that's an outrageous signing fee in my opinion. I think Pedro Neto is a good player, but he's worth nowhere near 80 million. He's probably a 50 million pound at best, and that could be something that will probably sway Manchester United to Michael Elise, who is a player. He is very good, but I would just prefer Neto due to versatility. But what we decide to do will be very interesting. And I think that's an important move of Erik ten Hag's to take. But yeah, that's all the news at the minute. We'll keep you up to date with all the news as it happens. Stay tuned for more videos. Obviously, we've got Fulham in the game tomorrow. The preview's already out on the channel, so let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your comments on the HOJLUND situation and on the Greenwood situation. And thanks for watching. Peace.